again, you've had this absolute, just apoplectic reaction from Republicans about the IRS because the budget is being strengthened. So let me just, give people some facts here because they seem to be devoid in them, okay? These 87,000 employees that are being hired, over 40,000 are going to be retiring. So the net gain is maybe half of that. Also, a lot of the money is going to be spent to upgrade the agency's superannuated computer system, which is, basically from the 80s or 90s, maybe at its most modern. So, again, and for every dollar that the IRS gets, they can collect $3 or $4 in taxes. And it reminds me why Jesse James was asked, why do you rob banks? Well, that's where the money is. So the fact that they're going to go after middle-class taxpayers when there's not that much money, no, they're going to go after a lot of wealth. They don't have the manpower to catch people who aren't being fair on the taxes. So that's what's going to happen. But the most outrageous thing was you have Charles Grassley, who shouldn't be running for re-election at 88 anyway, who's literally saying the IRS is going to show up at your door with an AR-15. I mean, this is how detached from reality and how dangerous the Republican Party has gotten. Only 1 or 2% of IRS agents are even allowed to carry guns, okay? So let's get that out. And the fact they're going to show up at your door, I mean, what is going on? Can you at least tell this party to temper the madness and, again, stop attacking our institutions?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a general sense that the IRS has really lost its way. And the Wall Street Journal had a really great editorial reviewing the Inspector General for the IRS. There has been a litany just of incompetence in terms of the inability to track how they allow for tax credits, a backlog. And sure, maybe the agents might help with the backlog. It's August. I still haven't even had my IRS return processed. I filed it on time. I still haven't even gotten it done. I mean, it's the IRS's fault. And it's a joke. Only about 10% of calls get returned. So I think there's this sense that if you're doing something wrong and you're incompetent, you don't reward incompetence with more money. I guess the best hope would be that with the additional funding, they could become more competent. But it's just, again, look at the Inspector General of the own agency itself, outlining a lot of incompetence there. So and then also there's the fact that we know that it was politicized under the Obama administration, that there were conservative groups that were targeted by the IRS for specific flagging because of the partisan lens. And my organization, Independent Women's Forum, we're scared about that. And I think that is a legitimate concern that people, and look, if you're paying fair taxes, obviously you shouldn't be, there's no fear that you're not paying enough. It's just more that the process, the headache of being dragged through something unfairly or just bureaucratically, I think that's a headache for a lot of people that they really don't want.
Well, and I think, first of all, I think that stuff that happened during the Obama administration was blown out of proportion. I would say the proof of that is you don't hear any complaints about that during the Biden administration. You don't hear any conservative organization saying that, oh, we've been flagged. So that was, 10 years ago, and I think it was blown out of proportion, but it hasn't happened recently. And secondly, I agree with you. The IRS does need some reforming. It has been incompetent, but a lot of that has been, bad infrastructure. So a lot of this updating the systems and making the infrastructure they have more efficient is going to lessen those problems. But I think certainly that the IRS could be more efficient, and I think this will be a way to help it. But can you at least acknowledge that people like Chuck Grassley shouldn't be lying about agents showing up with AR-15s? That isn't helpful.
Well, the IRS did take down a job description that was posted and calling for the IRS agent to be armed. So that's strange.
You're not answering the question. The question was, is it appropriate for a U.S. senator to be pulling stuff out of where the sun doesn't shine about agents showing up with guns and terrorizing people? Again, it's just crapping on institutions, and it's BS. It's total BS.
Well, you even said yourself, some of them are armed. It doesn't specify what type of arms.
Okay.
So and as we know, politicians.
Okay. It's all right. I just was hoping for a simple yes or no, but I won't be getting it. Wow. Another great session. Another great session. So much to talk about as always. Well, that does it for another episode of Practically Political. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Dave Spencer.
And I'm Carrie Sheffield. We'll catch you next time.